day, students. How are you doing? I believe you are good. All right. For the past 2 weeks now, we've been working on Spreadsheet package. I want us to exercise all those some objectives and do them in one task. Okay? So we want to use sum if, format cells to decimal places, create named range, and use named range. Your starter activity, you see it in Google Classroom. This is the question I gave you for the last class. So this is the question. You have to use header and footer. I will show you how to go about that. Then all merge cells, we've worked on merging of cells. Once format text in the cells, we'll do that too. But the main part I'm going to is your question number 9. That's what the majority called my attention to, where you have to use a function to calculate the regional income from Africa to the present, and we should use absolute and relative referencing. The condition do not use a named range cell. All right, for the header and footer, you get that in your inserts. You see header and footer, when you click on it brings out another ribbon for you to make use of. So I'll be expecting, please don't give me any other header or any other footer. This is what I'm showing you example. This is what I expect to be in your header, and this is how I expect your footer to be. When you click on your dates, the moment you click on header and footer, and you see it, current time, current date. That is, don't type the dates nor the time for me. Please use these functions. All right, so that is all for that header and footer. So for question number 9 now, what I need you to do is you type sum if. Can I go back to the question? Say in E11 now, you type equals to, all formulas in Excel, we will know it starts with equals to. So you type sum if. This is your range. So when you pick that range, it is telling you what's the criteria you want to use. They said we should use Africa. Africa. So the criteria you'll be using is your AF. And they said, what's not the sum range? That is all that I expect you to do under that task. That question, you are done with it already. Before you move to the other question, is that when you want to replicate, I taught you how to do autofill. You go to the lower right corner, you click and drag it down. That is all about that question. And it said you should format it into decimal places. To do that, in your home tab, you see under where you have $sign, you can pick more accounting formats. It brings out a dialog box like this. So it is better. When you click on this drop down, it gives you several options. Sorry about that. When you click on the drop down, it gives you several options. So you pick, they said you should use South Africa. You will see several dollars, several signs. When you are supposed to use dollar, please use dollar. I will be conscious of that. So please work on it. Now, you are told to use relative, please take notes, and absolute referencing. That is why when you pick a cell, you press F4 on your keyboard. When you press F4 on your keyboard, you can see when you pick a cell without pressing F4, you won't add this $sign. So that's why you have this $sign. This is the formula I use. Sum if B19 to B39. This is my criteria. I said AF, Africa. So it's on B5. I pick that. Then the others, the sum range. This is it. That is all about that question. Let's move back to our question now. That is okay. In another cell now, we want to calculate the rate of income for Brazilian real. So our income per week, we want to calculate it. What do you do? Since you are told to create a named range in the initial question, the named range, you select the cell that you're supposed to use. You are supposed to, when you select it, then you go to formulas. That's how to do a name range. You go to formulas. When you go to formula, you see define name. When you click on define name, this dialog box comes up. Then you type what you want to call the name. For our own question, you type rate here. Let me go back to the question so you can see it. You type rate. Use a named range rate. So you type rate in your own named range and you click OK. That is all. So now to use it, where you're supposed to use it, you type equals to VLOOKUP. C19 the rate, that's the named range. We are in 2 here because you have 2 columns in your named range. One column has the quotes, the other column has value. So since you are using the column 2, you type 2, then it's asking you, there's a criteria there. Do you want it to be false? That's, it must be exact. Or you don't want it to, if you tell it to be true, that means it can give you, if it's not exact. But the question is asking for those that are in Brazilian. This is the question, Brazilian real. So that means you have to use the exact. They're not telling you, they're not giving you room for flexibility, the exact one. So that's how you choose false. Then you now multiply it with the income. So when you multiply with the income and you press enter, it brings it out. Then what do you do next? You say you should replicate it. You should replicate it for all rows. Just click and drag it down. I believe you know total income will be summing up everything. So when you select everything, you can click auto sum. That will be done for that question. And that is all for your tax. If you have other questions that you need to ask me, do not hesitate to do that. Thank you.